The shift. When you stop caring, most men are conditioned to believe that if a woman pulls away, it's because they didn't do enough. They think they didn't buy enough gifts, send enough flowers, or provide enough stability. But here is the cold, hard truth. She didn't leave because you weren't good enough. She left because you were too safe. When you become too predictable, you become boring. When you are always available, your value drops to zero. You became a guaranteed part of her day, like the furniture in her living room, always there, never moving, and eventually completely ignored. Women are not biologically wired to crave a man who is easy to manage. They crave emotional tension. They crave the mystery of a man who has a life, a mission, and a purpose that doesn't involve staring at his phone waiting for her to text back. The moment you stop orbiting her ego is the moment the world shifts on its axis. Think about it. Up until now, her ego has been fed by your constant validation. You were the one providing the good morning texts, the compliments on her photos, and the relentless pursuit that made her feel like the center of the universe. When you suddenly cut that supply off, it creates an emotional vacuum. You've stopped being the moon that circles her planet, and for the first time, she feels the coldness of your absence. This isn't just about not texting, it's about the withdrawal of your masculine energy. You've taken your attention, the most valuable currency you have, and you've reinvested it into yourself. This is where the ego panic sets in. It's a psychological survival mechanism. When a woman realizes she no longer owns your attention, her brain triggers a red alert. She starts to wonder, wait, why isn't he chasing me? Who is he talking to? Did I lose my power over him? Up until this point, she felt she had you wrapped around her finger, and that comfort allowed her to be distant or disrespectful. But now that the safety net is gone, she realizes the power dynamic has flipped instantly. You are no longer the one seeking her approval. She is now the one wondering where she stands with you. That uncertainty is addictive. It creates a vacuum of emotional tension that forces her to look at you with a completely different lens. You have to understand that in the world of attraction, availability is the enemy of desire. By stopping the chase, you are effectively telling her that your life is more interesting than her drama. You are signaling that you have self respect, boundaries, and a mental exit that you aren't afraid to use. This isn't about playing games or being toxic. It's about reclaiming your masculine polarity. A man who stops caring about the outcome is the most dangerous man in the room because he cannot be manipulated. When you truly stop caring whether she stays or goes, you become the prize. You've stepped out of her frame and into your own, and now she has to decide if she's willing to work to get back into yours. This is the moment she realizes she's lost her grip, and the reactions that follow will tell you everything you need to know about her true character. 1. The territorial panic. The moment she senses you're slipping away, a switch flips. But don't confuse this with a sudden realization of love. This is territorial jealousy. For as long as you were chasing, she viewed you as a permanent fixture in her life, an asset she owned. She was comfortable, maybe even bored, because she knew exactly where you were, right under her thumb. Now that the emotional leash has snapped, her ego is in full blown crisis mode. She isn't mourning the loss of a connection. She is panicking because she no longer has exclusive rights to your attention. To her, your sudden silence doesn't mean you've found peace. It means you've found someone else. This is where the hunting begins. She will start haunting your digital footprint like a ghost. You'll notice her name popping up in your story views within minutes of posting. She might like a photo from 3 years ago just to let you know she's deep diving into your life. Then come the baiting questions, disguised as casual check ins. You seem different lately. Or the more direct, I bet you're seeing someone new, aren't you? These aren't signs of affection. They are diagnostic tests to see if she still has a psychological grip on you. She is trying to provoke a reaction to see if you'll fold and reassure her that she's still number one. She doesn't actually want you back in her life. She just doesn't want anyone else to have the property she chose to throw away. If she can keep you on the hook, she maintains her status. If you move on, she loses her power. 2. The villain narrative. When a woman realizes she can no longer control your actions, she will immediately move to control your reputation. This is the villain narrative. The second you stop being the nice guy who tolerates her distance, she has to find a way to explain your absence that doesn't make her look like the problem. To protect her ego, she rewrites the history of your entire relationship. Suddenly, the months you spent being consistent and caring are erased. In her new version of the story, you were always toxic, emotionally unavailable, or cold. She will take your silence, which is actually just a healthy boundary, and frame it as a weapon you're using to hurt her. This is a calculated defense mechanism designed to shift the weight of the breakup entirely onto your shoulders. By painting you as the villain, she gives herself permission to act out without feeling guilty. She'll vent to her friends, post cryptic quotes about narcissists, and try to bait you into an argument. Why? Because if she can get you to react, get you to explain yourself, or get you to apologize for things you didn't do, she's won. She wants you to feel so much guilt that you come running back just to prove you're a good guy. Don't take the bait. When you try to defend your character against a false narrative, you're still playing her game. The most powerful response to a lie is to let it exist while you remain completely unbothered. Your silence is the only thing she can't twist into a weapon. 3. Sexual re-engagement. This is the ultimate trap, and it's the one that catches almost every man off guard. When territorial panic and the villain narrative fail to bring you back, she will turn to the most potent weapon in her arsenal: sex appeal. This is the Hail Mary of emotional manipulation. Suddenly, the woman who used to leave you on read for 8 hours is sending you provocative selfies or accidental thirst traps on her story. She might send a late night text saying she misses your touch or drop a suggestive comment about a memory you shared. To the average guy, this looks like she finally realized how much she wants him. In reality, she's just checking the temperature of your desire. This isn't about intimacy. It's about a dopamine hit for her ego. She needs to know that she can still activate you with a single look or a suggestive word. She's testing to see if she still owns the keys to your physical attraction. If you cave in and give her that validation, or worse, if you go over to see her, the dynamic resets instantly. The moment she realizes you're still thirsty for her, the mystery is gone, the tension is broken, and she has all the proof she needs that she's still in charge. You'll find that as soon as she's confirmed she can still have you, she'll go right back to being cold and distant the very next morning. She didn't want the sex. She wanted the confirmation that you're still under her spell. Stay focused. Don't let a temporary urge destroy a permanent position of power. 4. The jealousy mirror. When a woman realizes that her silence isn't hurting you, she will pivot to a strategy designed to make you feel exactly how she feels: invisible and unwanted. This is the jealousy mirror. She begins to construct a digital fantasy life where she is suddenly the life of every party, surrounded by just friends who all happen to be tall, attractive men you've never seen before. You'll see the good vibes only captions, the blurry photos in loud clubs, and the deliberate tagging of locations she knows you love. It looks like she's moving on at lightning speed, but if you look closer, you'll see the desperation in the details. This isn't a woman enjoying her life. This is a performance staged for an audience of one: you. She is checking her story views every 10 minutes to see if your name has popped up yet. She is waiting, praying, and practically begging for you to take the bait. She is fishing for any sign of emotional instability. She wants that "who is that guy" text. She wants the jealous phone call or the passive aggressive social media post in response. Why? Because the moment you react, you've handed her the crown. You've proven that she still has the power to disturb your peace and dictate your mood. This is the ultimate test of your masculine frame. Real masculine energy does not compete for attention, and it certainly doesn't audition for a role in someone else's circus. If she is willing to use other people as pawns just to trigger your insecurities, she is showing you that she values her ego more than she ever valued your connection. Let her have her good vibes. Let her win the petty game of social media optics, because in doing so, she loses the only thing that actually mattered: the man who was once truly down for her. 5. Sudden value realization. This phase is perhaps the most confusing for men because it feels like the breakthrough you've been waiting for. When your supply of attention hits absolute zero, she will suddenly undergo a miraculous realization. Out of nowhere, she'll reach out to tell you how much she finally appreciates your consistency, your kindness, or the way you always supported her. She might drop lines like, "I didn't realize how good I had it until now," or "I was just in a weird place before, but I see your worth now." It sounds like growth and it feels like a victory, but you must look at the timing. She didn't find your value while you were standing right in front of her, giving her your best. She only found it when the benefits you provided were no longer available for free. This isn't a change of heart, it's a reaction to a void. When a person is used to a certain level of comfort and that comfort is stripped away, they will say whatever is necessary to get it back. It's an emotional survival tactic. She's appealing to your deep seated need to be seen and appreciated, hoping that these crumbs of validation will be enough to lure you back into her orbit. But here's the trap: the second you fill that void, the second you go back to being the available, predictable, consistent guy, the value she saw in you will evaporate instantly. She doesn't value you. She values the feeling of being chased by you. Real value is demonstrated through respect and presence when things are easy, not through a panicked sales pitch when the store is already closed. 6. The closure bait. The final and most sophisticated move in her playbook is the closure bait. This is the move she makes when she realizes that being cold, being sexual, and being jealous haven't worked to break your resolve. She will reach out with a very mature sounding request. "I think we just need clarity." Or, "Can we talk one last time? I just need closure so I can move on properly." It sounds like a reasonable adult request, which is exactly why it's so dangerous. It appeals to your sense of honor and your desire to be the bigger person. But you have to ask yourself, where was this burning desire for clarity when you were texting her and she was giving you one word answers? Where was the need for closure when she was being distant and disrespectful? The truth is, she doesn't need a conversation to understand why things ended. She was there. What she actually needs is a way to reestablish contact and pull you back into an emotional frame where she has leverage. She wants to see if she can still summon you to a coffee shop or a phone call on her command. Once she gets you there, she'll use that closure meeting to cry, to blame, or to flirt. Whatever it takes to reopen the door you worked so hard to close. You have to realize that you don't need a final meeting to understand a dead situation. The behavior she showed you when she thought she had you is all the clarity you will ever need. Your closure isn't found in a booth at a coffee shop listening to more excuses. Your closure is the fact that you've already moved on and you're not looking back. Stay grounded, stay silent, and stay out.